Hello, Nev here, and today on Man Can Cook, I'm going to be cooking what is possibly one of the world's most hated vegetables, but my favourite, the Brussels sprout. I'm going to be cooking the Brussels sprouts three ways today: oven roasted with butter and Parmesan cheese, air fried with olive oil and salt, and shredded and pan fried with onion and bacon. So I have about 400 grams of Brussels sprouts here, so all I'm doing is just taking the end off and cutting them in half. So I'll be using about 100 grams of Brussels sprouts for each recipe. When you're buying your Brussels sprouts, I always like to give them a bit of a squeeze. I like to buy the really firm ones. I think they taste a lot better. I've chopped all the Brussels sprouts in half and just taken the ends off. I'm just going to wash these and then we'll be ready to cook. For the oven roasted Brussels sprouts, I've got about just over 100 grams of Brussels sprouts. To that I'm going to add some melted butter. This is about 30 grams. It's probably a bit too much, but as I don't mind the fat, I'm just going to pour it all on. And we're just going to mix that up. Once the Brussels sprouts are all coated, just put them onto a baking tray with some baking paper and spread them out evenly onto the tray. I'm going to roast these in a fan-forced oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 25 to 30 minutes. And here are the oven-baked sprouts. And to that I'm just going to add about 15 grams of grated Parmesan and stir that through. To make the Brussels sprouts with olive oil and salt, I'm going to do mine in an air fryer. So if you don't have an air fryer, you could probably do these ones in the oven as well. So again, I've got about 100 grams of Brussels sprouts. To that I'm going to add about 15 grams of olive oil and a pinch of salt. And then mix the Brussels sprouts, coating them in the olive oil and salt. Once the Brussels sprouts are all coated in the olive oil and salt, just add them to the basket of the air fryer. Making sure that they're all facing with the cut side up is a little bit labour intensive, but I think you get a better result as far as cooking goes. So that's about 100 grams of Brussels sprouts. So you can see there's not a lot of room for a lot more Brussels sprouts. So you don't want to crowd them too much into the air fryer, otherwise they won't crisp up. And I'm going to put these in the air fryer for about 20 minutes on 150 degrees. Here are the air fried Brussels sprouts. Now I don't usually taste test, but I just want you to hear how crispy these are. They taste so nutty as well. So good. You'll fight over these. For the shredded Brussels sprouts pan fried with bacon, you'll need to shred your Brussels sprouts. So I've just shredded these in a food processor for about 20 seconds. This ended up being closer to 200 grams of Brussels sprouts. I didn't use as much Brussels sprouts in the other dishes, so it's about 200 grams of Brussels sprouts. You'll also need one onion finely chopped, about 100 grams of bacon chopped into small pieces, and about 30 grams of olive oil. Start by browning the onions in the olive oil until they're nice and caramelised. The onions are just starting to brown up, so I've lowered the heat a little bit and I'm just going to cook them for a little bit longer. So the onions are nice and soft and golden now, and to the fry pan I'm going to add the chopped bacon. And cook the bacon until it's thoroughly cooked and the fat is starting to render out. I've been cooking the bacon and the onion together for about 5 minutes now, and they're nice and caramelised. I've been stirring constantly. Now it is time to add the shredded Brussels sprouts. And continue to cook this until the Brussels sprouts start to soften and caramelise as well. You may need to add a bit more oil at this point. I've cooked the Brussels sprouts with the bacon, onion and olive oil for about another 5 minutes. They're really nice and soft now and they're ready to be served. And this is the completed shredded pan-fried Brussels sprouts with bacon and onion. That's about all I have time for today, but before I go, are you a lover or a hater of Brussels sprouts? If you're a hater of Brussels sprouts, I urge you to give one of these recipes a go and let me know whether you are now a lover of Brussels sprouts. If you're a lover of Brussels sprouts, have you got any favourite recipes that you have? If so, I'd love you to let me know in the comments as well. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.